Welcome to the Self-Report Podcast. I am Crystal Caliber. I am joined by my co-host, Zomner.
Hello, I'm Zomner.
And today we have a special guest also here, Jeff.
Yo, what's up?
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jeff.
I'm just like a random guy. I live above the studio. Just here. I'm here to have a good time.
Yeah.
What do you do, Jeff?
I work at the Walt Disney Company.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
That's
don't,
crazy.
If I work at
no,
don't cuss.
All right,
Don't
sorry.
cuss.
I apologize. Yeah, especially for your company. Yeah, just
Yeah.
going in easy. Yeah.
I'm a ride operator, so I push buttons.
Hell yeah.
What ride?
Goofy Sky School.
Good ride. It's a good ride.
It's a fun ride. Yeah, very rough.
Yeah, I love it when the
It goes down a lot.
Yeah, it's like you yell, and then when you're going down, and when you like do the sharp turns, it's like I like it. I like goofy stuff.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun.
I like when your cast members get us on multiple times in a row and then we just get whiplash. That's what I like.
Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. It's a very fun ride to destroy your back.
Mm-hmm. I remember after I got the spinal surgery when I went on it, and I was like really upset. I was like, "Why did I do that?"
I told you not to get on it.
Yeah, you told me
so-
not to do it, and I did it anyway. And I
Yeah,
was
I
like,
don't know.
"Well,
I don't know why you did.
yeah, I've done dumber things, I guess." So what have you been up to? I hear you went
Not
somewhere.
much.
You-
Work, yeah. Just
You
going
went
to
somewhere.
work.
Where'd you go?
Oh, I went to London. I went to London,
Wow.
England, the UK, Britain. I don't know what.
Was your
The
first
UK.
time?
Yeah, this is my first time.
Wow.
I've never been outside of the States really. I mean, I've been to
Oh, shit.
Mexico. I don't really count that. That's kind of just like
Just in the
a
same
hop
continent.
over, like,
yeah.
That's like a hop, a skip. You know, it
Yeah. Well, how did you like it?
was awesome. I had a very fun time. There was a lot of cool stuff to see there.
What was-
I've always been into history, so there's a lot of historical stuff to look at there.
All right, so you went for the history stuff. I mean, we can go into detail on that, but how do you say, like, was your favorite thing that you saw in London?
It's a hard one. My favorite thing that I saw in London.
Or experience? It doesn't have to be like seeing or something. You just like
All the museums were very cool to look at. I think probably my favorite museum that I went to though was the Imperial War Museum because they have a lot of really interesting stuff there and they go very in depth.
Imperial War Museum. So we're talking about like British Imperium here, I assume.
It honestly, it actually doesn't go that far back. Surprisingly, you would assume that it goes into like the colonial history, like a lot of like the like all the colonies that Britain had and all the places that they were kind of controlling at the time. But
Right.
really, like the earliest it starts with is World War One. So World War One,
Okay.
World War Two, Cold War kind of stuff. So you have like the Falklands War, you got the Troubles, like the nuclear stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then there was like a special exhibit at the time that was about like Malaya and Cyprus, and I forget what the last one was, but it was about those three nations. I forgot what the third one was, but it was about those three nations leaving the British Empire.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, it's like a subject that I certainly don't know much or anything about. So that's very, very cool.
Yeah, no, it was interesting. Yeah, there was a lot of really cool exhibits at that museum.
Yeah, well, sounds like it. Did you eat any British cuisine, if we can even call it that?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry, that's a reaction. Just bad, but people who know British cuisine not so appreciated in the culinary world. It always been laughed at. But yeah, sorry, didn't mean to
Why?
interrupt. Why? Because it's
Back then, their food wasn't very good. Like, I think as of late, their food has started to get a lot better. But back then, I know a lot of the British food that people were talking about was like just random boiled stuff.
a lot of boiled stuff.
A lot of boiled stuff. Nowadays, a lot of the stuff that gets attention is like they're kind of fried stuff and they're kind of baked stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of the British diet that people were like making fun of back then was just boiled, weird kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not like compared to like French where you have like levels of different. Yeah, you have the pastries, but you also have you have the frog legs or the snails, and that's more gourmet stuff. But they are more known for the pastry stuff, and Italian food. Your pastas, antipastos. You have your. I mean, I'm not a culinarist, so I don't
Finnish, you got your macaroni.
No, I mean, who am I to say on this stuff? Because Finnish culinary world is not also appreciated. I am 100% aware of that. Definitely on the like list of food cultures, like we are on the. Like we have influence from like Slavic and like Swedish like Nordic food cultures, but in the end, when you live up in the north and you don't have access to like a good amount of like fruits and vegetables and like access to like money or the spices, so exactly the sun affects how long can you grow something, so you don't have long seasons, so it means like what you're gonna eat, we're gonna eat wood bark. We're gonna cut this tree. Yeah, that happened when when we had one of the worst like famines in the 1800s. They basically said, here's how you make bread out of the stuff between the bark and the actual side of the wood. There's like a small part of it, and it's like, you just grind it up and it's almost like flour, except it makes you feel full, but it doesn't actually have any nutrition in it. It was really fucked up for my people.
Is that why rye bread's so famous there?
I mean, rye bread's actual red though.
Yeah, that's actual. Yeah, rye bread is good.
It's an homage to that.
No, it's not homage. It's because rye is really good to. It is easy to grow in the Finnish soil, and it's like easier than. I mean, wheat is fine.
What is rye?
That's just a grain, like
it's just a
type of grain that just grows in the ground. I'm not a. I'm not a what you call agricultural expert.
Archaeologist?
No, that's history. Well, I'm not an archaeologist either, but like I wish I would know a bit more agricultural.
That's
agricultural.
Agriculture.
Yeah.
I'm just like
I don't think that's probably
I know
right,
for like there was a talk about like the 4-season like grain crop. Anyway, no. Anyway, it's growing stuff is hard in my country. That's all I'm gonna say. That's why our food culture is not that.
I had that awful macaroni and beef casserole.
I don't know. So why people hated the macaroni casserole?
It just doesn't have a lot of taste to it.
Yeah, we had Finnish Independence Day here, and we ate some Finnish stuff. That's
yeah,
what
I made. It's not
made
macaroni casserole. I think it's more close to Swedish culture, but that's something I've like my mom used to make since I was a kid, and it's one of my favorite foods. And I was like, let me try to make because nobody knows how to make it. So I made it, and everybody seemed to hate it, except, and I'm gonna break a little bit of fourth wall. Our producer Victor is the only one who liked that shit, and I'm like, hell yeah, it's like it's all into it. Yeah. He was like, can I have seconds? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Nobody else wants to eat it, so yeah.
I don't think I hated it. I think I just was like expecting it to be more.
There wasn't much flavor to it. Was my main problem.
Yeah, no, you put ketchup on it. That's
This motherfucker uses ketchup as tomato sauce.
Yeah.
That scares me. When you did that,
that's kind of more normal.
I lived alone.
We were on Discord, and he's like, "I'm gonna make my tomato sauce now with ketchup," and I was like, "What?"
I don't like to make sauce because I'll make it and it goes over. So why you make sauce when you live alone? So just put ketchup instead.
Why make sauce when you live alone?
Yeah. Yeah, why you make, like, if you make a sauce, it's like, there's so much left over, I'm not gonna use it, so it throws away. And it's like, especially if you make tomato sauce. Now, of course, you can go and buy your tomato puree or like ready-made sauce again, but that shit costs a lot, and so I'm like, I don't want to do it. So
hey,
ketchup.
You know what? I'm not gonna hate on that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
To me.
So when you live alone, that's like I'd rather use ketchup.
When you live alone, why you gotta make sauce?
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to
on.
Sorry.
What, the Self-Report Podcast?
That's on the selfreportpodcast.com/shop. The when you live alone.
I don't know if
you don't gotta make sauce shirt.
All right. Let's keep it for the
your
future.
face is on it too.
Okay. Sure. Anyway, how was anything else cool from London? You saw like a bunch of war stuff.
Yeah, I went to the Churchill war rooms as well. That was really interesting. That's the bunker where Churchill was living during a lot of the war. He was, planning stuff out. They were keeping a lot of stuff logged down there. Like, it was really interesting. They had a lot of boards that were like, V1 rockets launched at London, stuff like that. Like I thought that was really interesting, and a lot like all that stuff is still original down there. Like at the very end of the war, they just closed that place. Like everybody just got up and left it as is. It was super.
I don't need it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they don't need it, but also like they left like personal effects and stuff down there as well. That was just like, oh, this is cool. This is exactly in the state that it was at the end of the war. Like right as the war ended, they left everything there that would have signified.
Was there like a huge stack of like booze? Or like...
There was no booze down there, but it was really interesting. Like there was a guy. A guy had a packet of little like sugar cubes,
right?
That he had forgotten down there, and they're still on the table today.
That's
cool.
It
was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Yeah.
Was there like porno magazines or?
No, they weren't doing that in there. They were probably going into private up there. Yeah, there was like cigarette stubs and stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Same thing.
I guess, yeah.
Did you take a tube to go there?
Yeah, I took the tube pretty much everywhere. I love the.
What is a tube?
It's the underground railway. It's just like their subway essentially.
Metro.
Yeah, their metro.
Railway. Yeah.
Very convenient. It's a very convenient way to get around. I wish that we had something like that here, but we wouldn't put our money towards that. So.
I wonder what you think of Japan. Apparently, they're.
They have a high-speed railway. Yeah, I'd like to check that out.
Awesome way of traveling around.
I'd be very interested in checking that out. But yeah, I think that city has public transportation down.
Yeah, I got the metro, got the buses, double-decker buses.
Just the normal train as well.
Yeah, taxes are also
taxis are pretty prevalent there. Yeah,
Uber, of course, taking over. But
just biking, biking everywhere because it's very easy to bike everywhere there.
Yeah, true. And just walking, like if you're in a neighborhood,
it's a very walkable
city.
Yeah. When you're not on the tube, walking is such an easy way to get around because everything is kind of walking distance.
Yeah. Do not drive. Do not drive in London.
Do not drive in London. That was a nightmare. Going to my hotel, the guy was driving so slow, and I saw like everybody go around my driver.
Oh man.
And then leaving London, the driver was rushing so much. I was like, okay, slow down a little bit.
I remember when I visited London in 2011. And was it 2010? I think it's 2011. So we took from Heathrow Airport. We took the tube to our hotel.
That's a nightmare because you got to carry your bags with you on the tube.
Yeah. It was just like a small family taking all their bags and going to the metro and going to the other side of London. I don't remember. I don't remember the night. Yeah, I mean we did it once, and then when we left, like I think we stayed like 10 or 14 days. I don't remember anymore. But like after that, we were like, all right, we're gonna take taxi this time. We're not doing that again.
Yeah. No, yeah, we took a car to and from the airport to the hotel, and from the hotel to the airport.
Yeah. How was your airplane experience? You haven't traveled like long distances.
Yeah, I've never traveled very long distances. But the plane experience, those seats are very uncomfortable. I will say, I had to readjust every 30 to an hour, like every 30 minutes to an hour.
You watch any movies or raw dog it?
Leaving London, I kind of raw dogged it. I mean, I had some music that I downloaded.
You kind of raw dogged it?
Yeah, you either do it or don't. Yeah.
I medium dogged it.
All right.
I didn't really watch anything, and I didn't really listen to anything. But I did. Well, I didn't listen to any like podcasts or anything. But for a little bit, I was listening to some music.
Okay.
That was all right. But on the way back to the United States, I slept a lot actually. I slept a lot on the plane. I didn't even have to take a Benadryl or anything. Just slept.
Nice.
But two kind of sucked. Like I did sleep a bit on the way to, and then I watched Top Gun on the way there.
Hell yeah.
That was fun. And then I started to watch the movie The Green Book. With
Marshall Ali and Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah,
we literally were just talking about it yesterday.
Yeah, that's a good movie. But then I stopped halfway through, and then I just sat there the rest of the flight, either sleeping or just sitting there.
Were you on
That's
were you in the aisle side or you were in the window side?
I was on the aisle side.
Okay, so
on the way to, I was on the aisle side. On the way back, I was in the window seat.
Did you check out outside at all? Did you see any cool views?
On the way back to the United States, yes, I did see some pretty cool views.
Yeah.
as we were flying over Ireland. That was really cool because I had a connecting flight from Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, to and from. We were at the Dublin airport.
Oh, yeah. How was Dublin airport?
Pretty good. Pretty small, but it's a cool airport. They had some interesting restaurants. They had a Burger King there.
Yeah?
I looked at the menu at the Burger King because I was curious as to how different a Burger King in Ireland is to the United States, and it's not very different.
Yeah. I think most of the big ones like McDonald's and Burger King are pretty much same. I still think like Taco Bell in my country sucks ass. That's why I had such a negative like overview on Taco Bell. Now that I've been here in the States for a while, I've been like Taco Bell is like all right. It's actually has risen up in my ranks of like living place. The price quality like of that place is just insane. If I would in my country, I wouldn't recommend. Here, yes, absolutely.
There was another place that had a menu item called the Handsome Burger.
What is that?
It just looked like a hamburger. I don't know what the difference was, but it was called the Handsome Burger, and I thought that was funny.
Speaking of Dublin, did you go to any pubs when you were in London?
When I was in London, yes, I did. I went to multiple pubs. I forget what most of them were called. I do remember the one that I did go to that was right by my hotel. It was called the Churchill Arms. That was a very cool pub. A lot of like Churchill kind of memorabilia, as well as World War I and World War II stuff. I went there on St. Patrick's Day actually, which was really fun.
Very, as an American, very, very, very good to. It's St. Patrick's Day, and then
let's go to the pub in the UK.
Yeah,
because Ireland loves the UK.
Yeah.
But I met up with some cool guys there. That was a fun time. The pub experiences that I had while I was in the UK were pretty good.
Nice, that's good.
So you just went up to random people, and we were just like, "Hey."
Yeah.
How the fuck did you do that?
I just went up to them and said, "What's up?"
Did you have any drinks before that?
Yeah, like how did you?
I
motivate?
had ordered my drink, but I didn't have. I hadn't drank any.
Hell yeah.
So you completely sober went up to British people.
Yeah.
And like strangers.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Bro, that's like a skill. That's a special.
That's
ability.
like what my dad does. Not like walk, but like my dad, when we went to Edinburgh 2 years ago, he did this where we went to this small pub because we were like, oh, we want to go to a pub experience in Edinburgh because we're in Scotland, and then just like. And we were just like, you know what, we should order some whiskey because we're here, and then just go to a pub. And we went to this really tiny, I don't remember what that street is, like this huge staircase that goes from the center of the city. After the river, you go these huge stairs, and there's this one of the oldest hotels in like Edinburgh, and there's like this small street, and in there's like a wee little pub. I think it was called Wee Pub. It's it's like a small pub. Yeah, literally like a
wee little pub.
Yeah,
I can imagine your dad had a good time.
Yeah,
I met your dad obviously.
Yeah, he's a chill guy. He's always socializing and everything. So we had like one drink each, and then it's just like, well, I don't think my sister had any, but other than that, we sat on the table. We asked like, there's this couple. My dad asked, is it all right, because there wasn't that many places to sit, and the man said sure, and we ended up talking. Turns out that guy we were talking to, as my dad starts like asking questions and talking, oh, we're on a vacation and doing this, and then the guy says, yeah, I used to study here, like I used to do my engineer study, and turns out that guy is like a former European Space Agency like rocket engineer, and just happened to be back in town with his wife to like show around in Scotland. It was like a really interesting discussion.
It's
just like when you just talk to random people at a pub, you just meet up with like and get
okay, but what if they were like about to break up and you guys like interrupted that?
Well,
they helped then.
Yeah,
they helped
I mean,
have that happen.
I mean, the vibe didn't seem like that. I don't know what the vibe. If the vibe was bad, then
I feel like usually when you're at a table, you can kind of like if you spot somebody at a table, you can tell if that's the vibe.
Yeah. I mean, usually
that's pretty easy to read.
I don't know if it's easy, but pretty fast. I'd say like if there would have been like not talking or anything like that. I mean, the vibe seemed like pretty alright. She was quiet, but like still we were asking questions like how is she like here, and it was like it's alright and everything. So we didn't break their vibe too much, but I know my dad usually always likes to talk, so it might always good to like, okay, Dad, just settle down, just take it back a little bit.
Okay, explain like what the vibe was when you went up to these people.
Yeah, Jeff.
Oh, me?
Yeah. I'm curious about.
Yeah, how many people were there? What was there like?
There was
vibe?
3 of them. It was just like a group of friends who were hanging out. I could tell. It looked like they were having a good time.
How old were they?
Like mid to late 20s, I think. Like one of the ones who actually said their age was like 26, 27.
Okay.
young lads having a pint.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a Friday night, was it?
No, it's like a Wednesday night.
Oh, Wednesday night.
But
Well,
that's normal. That's normal there. It's normal to just go out to the pub with your friends after work because they're in such close proximity.
Yeah, after hour or
just get a pint.
Cheap pint. Yeah.
So you were just like, I'm gonna talk to these 3 random men.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, what are you thinking before you go up there?
Well, I went out and I was like, well, I want to get a drink, and also I don't want to just sit by myself. So I was just like, okay, well, I see a group of people with an empty seat. I'll go and see if maybe I can sit with them and hang out. So that's what I was.
And you had no anxiety about it.
Not really. No.
Holy shit.
That's baller. But that's also what traveling is about. Getting to know people,
getting
cultural
meeting people.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
What if they were like, no, go fuck yourself?
I would have just left.
Would you have been sad?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't really know them, so who cares?
Yeah, it's some strange guys.
I'm at a pub. I mean, people talk shit at the bar all the time. That's just a part of it.
I don't usually talk shit like in my country. It's like yeah. I'm trying to remember. Have I ever had like I usually go with my friends, so I don't have that like, oh, I'm gonna talk to a stranger at the bar. I feel like that's sometimes a bit odd. But if you're like, but I've been to like situations where I'm sat down and then some random guy shows up in the middle of the like talking, and usually they're really drunk, so that's like, okay, all right, and then we discuss, and then we have like, I think here in America I've had better experiences being at like
the bar?
Bar we've been to. I don't know if I should mention any locations.
Name of the bar?
Yeah.
Gardens?
No, Gardens. No,
that's happened to me at Gardens a lot.
I don't go to Gardens. Go
Hill
Tavern.
Tavern. I've
in Costa
mentioned.
Mesa,
Yeah,
California. Shout out.
Yeah, it's a great place. I have a good selection of beers. I really like that. Good pricing on it. But and then time to time I have people talking over there, and just like
random people just coming up.
The locals, and just
well, because I've introduced you to my friend group.
And just
random people just coming up to us and talking.
Yeah, and it's always been like they're not disturbing, and I'm like, and just like
sometimes you run into weirdos.
Yeah,
I feel
sure.
like it's pretty rare.
Yeah. And it's just usually Friday night or so.
It's a Friday night,
so it's
most
like
people are just out to have a good time.
Yeah, so I'd say that's the vibe I'm looking for. In like a lot of the times I've been into a bar in my country, it's just like you're just in a place because you want the cheap beer, and that this is like not a seedy place, but it's not a like a classy place. So when you're sitting there and you get someone to talk to you, it's like, sure, I'll talk to you, but I don't know if
you get that here too. Like you get people coming out who just want to get a cheap drink. But I feel like a lot of times when you're going to the bar here, you're going with your friends.
Yeah.
You're going to hang out. Again, get a cheap drink, but also hang out with each other.
Yeah.
While you drink a cheap drink. I know whenever we go, me and my friends, we always we each get a pitcher for ourselves.
Pitcher is pretty good for the price. I mean,
it's
just like, and that keeps up
like
you
$20 for a whole bunch of beer.
Yeah, and that's good for a night, and pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
I hate beer.
It's delicious.
I used to be for a long time.
That's a hot take, I think, but that's fine.
So, for a long time, I didn't want to drink any alcohol because I thought that was like how I saw how people behaved. That, and then for a long time, until I went to university, and then things changed, and I became like, then my life got ruined. But like, for beer, I was like a long time. I was like, I don't care for the taste of beer, whatever. I don't remember what happened. I don't remember when I changed into like, I can drink a lager. I think it started with like sour beers first because I like a sourness in a like an ale, and then it turned to like, let me try an IPA. Oh, IPAs they're okay for a little bit, but like I don't like finishing them. They're bad. So
I like a fruity IPA. I feel like a fruity IPA. That's
okay.
One of the things I drank while I was in the UK was this. I think it's like a hazy day or something.
Okay,
you heard
hazy
of that
day.
one? Yeah.
That sounds like a mark, but I'm not an IPA guy. But like, if there's like a good like, one of my favorite like drink experiences is like, okay, this is not a lager. This is actually a cider, and I don't think about it. But me and my parents went to visit my sister when she was studying in Netherlands, and we were in Amsterdam. And went to this small bar near our Airbnb, and they had like a Belgian like lager, like straight up like Belgium, like literally just that's like a 2-hour drive from there, and it's just like, oh yeah, we have a Belgian like cider that's just like 8%, and I'm like had it, and I was like, holy shit, this is like one of the best ciders I've ever had at that bar.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it was like I don't know. Like sometimes, sorry for doing the alcohol talk, but like I think like when I've had like beer is now I'm at the point like I can have a beer. Too much is like I don't want to get that beer gut in me, but like at the same time I'm like, well, just like, oh, you just want to sip a little bit and just enjoy the time. You don't have to go crazy with like, oh, gin and tonics, or oh, I'm gonna get my drunk on some shots and like.
Well, I found it really interesting in the UK, the way that bar culture is a lot different, or like pub culture is a lot different, especially with like. I feel like in the UK, in the pubs, you find a lot more food as well. Yeah. Like fish and chips, and when I went to a pub that had steak and ale pie that was delicious.
What's a steak and ale? Can you describe it a bit more?
It's like a. So if you've ever had like a chicken pot pie. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Different shape, obviously. It's more. It's just like a meat pie. It has steak and like some like kind of ale, like a sauce in it, like a gravy that's made with ale. Okay. And it's pretty good. It was on top of some mashed potatoes and some carrots. It was delicious.
Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like savory. A thing I would like.
Very savory. Yeah, no, it's really, really good.
For a pub food, yeah. It was like...
The fish and chips I had, too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I didn't get it at the best spot. It was all right. I went to a Wetherspoons, which is like a big chain pub in the UK. And I got fish and chips from there. Not the worst, but I feel like I probably could have found better fish and chips.
I think fish and chips in general are pretty mid. Like I had good fish and chips in my life at this small fish and chip place in my country that went down almost immediately after I've been there. It was I was so sad because it was such a good place. Yeah, I brought it down.
You brought it down.
Yeah, absolutely. But then I remember having one when I was in London as a younger man, and then I was like, it was fine. It was like nothing special. So
I had it in Australia. It's all right. But it's like really heavy. I feel like no way in hell am I like eating fish and chips every day.
Oh, no,
and I don't know how different it is in Australia compared to what it would be in the UK.
No, I think it's.
But it is like dense as shit. Like I could see though it being really good when you're drinking. When you're out drinking, like. I feel like that's like what you'd eat if you want to make sure you don't get hungover.
You put you put the lemon on top of it. The malt vinegar.
Yeah,
that's delicious.
Yeah.
I don't really think they do it much with tartar sauce there. Tartar sauce is I think a very American fish and chips thing.
I try to remember, did I have tartar sauce at the place I was in my country, but
it wasn't even offered as a side where I was.
I think that's.
I don't think it exists most places. We have weird, fucked up things to mask the taste of food in America. So
I mean, the UK does too.
Oh yeah,
mushy peas.
Oh, mushy.
Get me out of here.
Yes, yeah. You said I think it was something about the peas being different in
the beans. Is that what you're talking about?
Oh yeah, they're beans. The beans that they eat are pretty good. They're essentially just baked beans, but they're slightly sweeter. I feel like.
Okay.
I had a full English breakfast as well. That was delicious. Wow. The blood sausage, I feel like everybody's kind of scared of that blood sausage. It's not too bad. It looks kind of gross, but it's just a very savory sausage.
Yeah.
That's in a weird like a puck form.
Mm-hmm.
And then what else is in a full English? The beans, obviously. The beans were quite good.
You got the toast.
The toast. The bacon.
Is beans on toast like real? Like, is it a thing that actually tastes good together?
Yeah, I mean, at least I think so. I was doing it when I was having my full Englishes, and I thought it was tasty. I mean, obviously they think it's tasty.
Well, of course they do.
It's a common thing. Yeah. But like again, I feel like everybody's palate's kind of different, like throughout the world, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But beans on toast is not bad.
It just seems like a weird thing to put together to me, but I don't know. And also, like, it's not been Americanized at all. Like, that's not like something that we haven't
really brought that over here. But like, if you ask them, they'd probably think like putting like avocado on toast is weird.
Maybe.
I mean, you say maybe with like that kind of like, no, it's not kind of voice, but like think about it like this: to them, the beans on toast is like such a normal thing to them.
Well,
avocado on toast is such a normal thing.
Yeah.
To them, they don't even really eat avocado.
The reason I say maybe is because you got a vegetable on a avocado's a vegetable, yeah.
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 It might be a fruit, but whatever.
Fact check that one.
Yeah. Jamie, can you fact check that for us, please?
That's his name is Victor.
I know it's a fucking Joe Rogan joke. Nobody ever understands this joke. Every
Oh no,
time I do
I
it.
understood the bit. I just wanted to.
Okay, thank you.
I understood the bit. I just wanted to.
No, like if you put like a fruit or a vegetable or something on top of a piece of toast, I feel like that's different than putting a carb on a carb. Like beans are carbs.
They're legume.
Yeah, they're a legume. They're technically a.
The fuck
They're
is
a
that?
vegetable, technically. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, you guys are right, but it's still weird. It's like a heavy thing to eat on top of a heavy thing to eat. That's why I think it's a little weird.
I mean, as a Mexican, we put beans on tortas. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but the tortillas and stuff are like thin. And
No,
like, you know.
tortas are the. It's a sandwich. It's a Mexican sandwich.
Oh.
Yeah, like we liquefy beans and use that as like mayo sometimes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
It's delicious.
and it's good on a sandwich.
Yeah, it's really good on a sandwich.
Beans as mayonnaise? I don't know. I'd want to try that. Give me somewhere where we can try
It
that.
doesn't taste like mayonnaise.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
still just tastes like beans,
Yeah,
but
So like a paste.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like you take refried beans and just kind of.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. That's interesting though. I still never had
It's
it.
it's delicious.
All right. Gotta try it out.
It's a very different kind of bean. Like again, because British baked they're just baked beans, but slightly sweeter.
Yeah, the sweet. Apparently, you have to get like a certain brand. Like you can't really
It's
replicate
usually the
it.
Heinz one.
Yeah, you can't really replicate it perfectly here. I've heard anyway.
You can order those beans. You can order them here. We could literally try it.
I've made them by scratch.
Have you made them by
Yeah,
scratch?
you use flour and then you make your own like tomato base.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is, like, to make it sweet, you do put a little bit of sugar in it, but you have to like cook it.
Yeah.
Gotta make it sweet.
Yeah, it's
We should have given him his own
I
microphone.
know, it's like putting beans, ketchup on toast.
That's I was gonna say, I was trying to the whole time thinking like, what's like something weird like Americans put on like a piece of bread and like makes me weird. Like it's like, okay, let me say this is not weird. Like it's so common, but like where I'm at, this is not like common to eat. Like I like when we had for lunch had like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but I was like, that's not a lunch that like a normal like a Finnish person or like most Europeans would have. They might have like a
It's not normal for
yeah,
us either.
no, but it's like you have a sandwich. But
Yeah.
it's like a sandwich is like when I bought from a store, I buy a chicken sandwich like and it has some chicken and some I don't know some I guess mayo or something inside and that's it. But like
That's like what we have in school. You know what though? As an adult though, I have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches constantly. So I mean, like that's
It's
just
just an
me.
easy thing to make.
Yeah, it's easy to take.
not
It's
a
good.
very-
It's not expensive.
yeah, but with like I don't think it's that common where I'm at. I think it's because of the price of peanut butter is not as common, and then like jellies put on the things is like. I mean, we do have jellies, but when we put jellies, we put them on like sweet
Toast.
things. Yeah, sometimes, and like porridge and stuff like that. But not that much with the bread. Like, and the bread in general is way different here than in where I'm at. Like in most of Europe, I'd say.
Bread sucks in California, but that's just me.
Any other?
I miss
Sorry.
Philly. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask any other good food experiences, any experiences at all from London, any fun,
yeah,
fun
food.
notions?
I had a really good gyro when I first got there.
Oh, wow.
That was delicious. With a side of chips, and there's also chips in the chips is in French fries because they call them chips there.
Yeah.
Which is fair because I think they're
Why the fuck do we call them something different?
fries.
Like, I'm confused. We came from England. Why do
we stopped being from England
Well,
in
yeah.
1776.
But like the whole point was like that that's where everything started. Why do we not have more of that shit here? Like, why do we not have more food from
When you
England
go,
and stuff?
Because the cultural
cultural differences started in the late 1700s when
The
we became our
Revolutionary
own.
War?
Yeah, the Revolutionary
And-
War.
I know about that one.
But also because you have so many other cultures come in and influence
so
on the
many
whole
other
thing,
cultures
so,
coming to
like,
the U.S. You got the Irish coming here. You got the Germans,
Italians.
Yeah.
Later on, like later on, you got the Mexicans. and-
Yeah, Latin American cultures
American culture.
definitely influencing and like
Yeah, because again, we have a lot of immigrants here, so it's
So, because we have so much immigration that food like overwrote anything that we had started with? Like,
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much.
what
yeah.
did we? Does anybody know the answer? It's like, what food did we eat when we first came here, like as a country?
I'm sure it's
Like
it's
a lot of
been-
boiled meats and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
like just very simple stuff. Because back then we didn't have very intricate recipes. Like for like, you know, the big stereotypical American food, the hamburger, originally came here from Germany, from Hamburg, where they had the Hamburg steak, which is just like a meat patty, I think, with like gravy on top of it
Yeah.
or something. And then somebody thought we could put that in a sandwich, and then the actual meat itself started to be made differently. And it's, again, like a lot of the food that we eat now evolved from a whole bunch of different kinds of foods.
Is it an American thing to make everything a sandwich?
No.
Not entirely, but also it definitely has its roots, especially with the work culture that we have in America, where you kind of always have to be on the go.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of sandwiches now. Like, that's why the hot dog exists. That's why the hamburger exists.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Yeah, just because it's...
So a hot dog exists in a bun because we
They
have
were-
to go to work.
Yeah, well... fact check that one. Fact check that one.
It's an industrial era
Yeah.
thing to have handheld food, because prior to that you would have to like eat soup and stuff.
Yeah, you would be eating soup. You'd be eating a lot of stuff that you'd have to sit down and eat. Whereas with a lot of handheld kind of foods, you could just take it with you on the go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, blame everything on industrialization. Everything
Yeah.
like food culture, the general, is definitely from the 1800s or onwards is to be blamed.
Yeah, restaurants weren't really a thing until like 300, 400 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember hearing on a different podcast talking about the first like continental breakfast. I think it started on the Ritz, the original Ritz from, and was it in London or was it in Paris? They basically wanted to do like, hey, we have a hotel, like people are traveling and they want to stay on something, but like we should have like food that's like people come on different times and we should always have something available.
Our light exploded.
Yeah,
Nothing.
no,
It
it's
did.
all good.
The charger fell off the light stand.
Yeah.
So I was talking about the origin of the continental breakfast, and
Yes.
and it was just this idea of like, hey, we should have food available like at all time because people are traveling different times coming to this hotel. So at the Ritz, or I don't remember where it was originally, but it was in somewhere in the 1800s, and they were like, hey, here's available food all times, and we were gonna make like a huge table with it was like a table and people would bring up food in there, and then they realized, well, it's so hard to like have people at all time like have servers going on all day every day, so why instead just have a table and just have a bunch of foods and people take from there. So that's the
Like a buffet, essentially.
yeah,
Like,
essentially.
That's the origin of the buffet as well.
Yeah, it's like the original like continental breakfast and buffet style like stuff comes from, I think, that idea. It's very modern idea, but like it was very interesting to hear like how the concept came to be. I wish I could remember it more, but did you have? So you said English breakfast. Did you have like a buffet style like breakfast?
No, I never had a. They had a buffet style breakfast at the hotel, but
Yeah.
you had to pay extra for it.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes. But that's like so interesting, like.
You come to a lot of hotels here, that's just included.
Yeah, but like here it's like very sweet. You have your bagels and you have your
Pancakes,
waffles. Waffles every time, and you have
Syrup.
syrup, of course, and they have some fruits in there, and then of course cereal in there. But when you go to like a lot of like European hotels, you have like very sour stuff. You have sausages, you have like bacon,
The weird, like,
eggs,
thick kinda cut bacon.
porridge. You have ham. You have a whole different styles of like. Fruits and vegetables and like cold cuts, and it's
Yeah. It also comes down to here we want to cut down on labor as much as possible. So
Yeah.
all that like kind of sweet breakfast stuff is very easy to make. Cereal obviously is just factory made.
yeah.
Bagels, just bread that you can easily keep. Syrup. Like again, it's all very self-serve kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Also,
whereas in the
Also, it's expensive as hell. It's like,
yeah, in Europe, like again, all that kind of savory breakfast stuff is all stuff that has to be specifically prepared by a person.
yeah,
Whereas in the U.S., obviously, all that sweet kind of breakfast stuff is just
put it out. there.
ready-made stuff.
Yeah,
Pancakes and waffles you can easily just make for yourself. they have the specially made pancake and waffle makers at the hotels.
I went to a hotel with my parents where they had a guy who was literally like, okay, what you
making
want?
them for you?
Yeah.
I've seen that before too. Yeah.
It was pretty nice, and you just give him a tip. And
Would he make them in shapes?
No, but just like
No,
ask what
just-
would you want? Like you want
Yeah, like
waffles, you have
toppings
like
stuff.
pancakes and stuff,
That's
and like
depressing.
I mean, if you paid enough, it was like I would have asked
Who
like,
cares what shape
give me a Mickey
it's in?
Mouse
You're gonna-
shape of pancake.
You're
Give
gonna
me
be
some
eating it
Mickeys.
anyway.
Yeah.
Give me a heart-shaped pancake.
Yeah, could have asked
Yeah.
if you put some extra tip in.
All right. Well, I'm gonna ask you the 3 questions that every guest gets asked. What is your favorite thing about yourself?
Oh, you're talking to. I thought you were talking to him.
Oh,
You're the guest. You
yeah, your
jackass.
guest, yeah, and like yeah.
I think I'm funny. I think I'm pretty funny at least.
Yeah.
I feel like I retain information pretty well. That's something that I really like.
Mhm.
I got kind of an encyclopedic kind of brain going on.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
It's good to be interested in stuff.
I that's something that I've always thought was kind of cool about myself, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really thought about stuff that I like about myself because I'm always like, you know, why am I going to like something about myself? Because that's kind of, I feel like I'm kind of biased. But no, that's something I've always enjoyed about myself is my ability to retain information well.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. That's also one of my favorite things about myself. It's annoying as shit, though. Because then all you want to do is talk about the information that you've
Yeah.
retained, and then you bother everyone with it.
When I was younger, I used to be really bad about that. I would always just talk about the stuff that I knew, but growing up, like I feel like I've gotten a lot better with it. If you ask my family, I would
Yeah,
talk about Star Wars and
Yeah.
I would talk about like Star Wars and even when I was younger, like Thomas the Tank Engine.
Shit, you had like a thing with Thomas the Tank Engine when you were young?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Did you got the I don't know how it is, but I've always heard like the British version of Thomas Tank Engine had Paul McCartney, no, or was it one of the Beatles? I think, or was it George Harrison or like Paul McCartney? Is Ringo? Oh, sorry.
Did he play
it's
a
Ringo.
train or was he just himself?
No, he was the narrator. No.
Oh,
It's like,
I don't remember actually.
he
Again,
was
when I was in Thomas the Tank Engine, I was like a baby.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. Did you see that episode where they put that train behind the
Behind the wall,
Yeah,
the concrete wall. Yeah.
that
That's
horrified me as a
messed up.
kid.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
Did you guys have Barney?
No, we didn't have Barney when I was a kid. No.
I liked Barney when I was younger too. He was
Yeah.
cute.
We had, but then talk about like people being in a suit. We had the Big Bear in the Blue House, or what is it? We had
I
that.
loved that show.
Yeah, that was a creep. It was
My
always
brother
creeped
used
me
to
out when
watch
when the bear would come to the camera and start sniffing around. That freaked me out. But other than that, the bear was pretty fun, and all the singing and the.
How's
the
that
stuff.
song go? I don't remember.
I wouldn't know. I only
Oh,
sing
Sing it here. Sing it
man.
right now.
I don't know. First, I don't remember it. Second, it was in Finnish, so I cannot even tell how
no,
it was
that's
in
Sing it
It's
in
like-
Finnish.
I don't remember it. I just,
Wait, can you say like him sniffing the thing in Finnish?
He would
He
just be
used to say,
sniffing.
yeah, but he
I
used
don't
to
remember.
say a
I
little
don't remember.
line before he did
no,
that thing.
what was it? What did he say? No, I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I remember watching it. I don't remember any of the lines. I'm bad at quoting stuff, like in general. But I do remember watching it on like Sunday or Saturday mornings on Channel 3 at like 10 a.m. or something like that.
Yeah, like my brother is three years younger than me, and that was like his era of stuff. And I'd watch it because he was watching it all the time, and I thought it was like the cutest little show. And the little mouse guy he hangs
Yeah,
out
the
with.
mouse.
and,
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I like that better than my shows that I had growing up, which wasn't very many. But I had like G.I. Joe. It's like, that's what I fucking
Pretty
watched.
good.
Dumbass 80s
worked
shit.
out so
Loved
much.
it.
For-
It's not dumb.
We didn't have G.I. Joe. We didn't have American imperialism brought out
Oh,
in the
yeah, that's
TV
true.
and all that. So
He-Man, She-Ra.
we had the new.
I watched a lot of Transformers.
Oh,
The original
Thundercats.
Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers. But we had. I watched
I think my favorite
Transformers.
album from him is Drunk.
Wait, which Transformer was? Which era is this?
The very
G1.
first
G1.
one.
G1
Okay, okay.
Transformers, yeah.
We didn't have. I was.
I'm, like, it wasn't really on TV when I was a kid, but I watched a lot of it. I bought the box sets of that.
Cool. Yeah, I had the Armada was my first
You
one.
liked
It's very,
Armada?
yeah, it was very anime like, so it was like that definitely
Wait,
like
how old are
affected
you again?
Me, I'm 29. It was like the
That's crazy. It's not that
2000
much like younger than me, but it
2003,
feels-
2004. They had Armada and Energon after
Yeah.
that. So I was like, and they turned into CG, and I was like, I'm out. I didn't care for it anymore at that point.
You like the movies?
I saw 2007. I saw Transformers at theater. I was excited about that, going to see it
Yeah,
at theaters.
I like the first.
It was like, and I saw it in
At the
theaters. I
time.
was like crazy, and it was like, yeah. Never since saw the sequels.
As a kid, I didn't really like the movies because I was a big G1 fan. And
Right,
Mm.
right.
These designs are too pointy and too
Yeah.
weird looking.
Yeah.
Whereas G1 was all very boxy kind of design.
You don't like Gridlock?
Grimlock?
No. Who's the guy? Which one is the Decepticon that turns into the air, like, can change into airplanes and like tanks and stuff?
No, that's Blitzwing.
Blitzwing, yeah. That scene in the theater when he's like goes like into that base and just like he looks like a pilot, like he can manipulate to like see there's a pilot
That's
inside.
not.
That's in the first movie.
That's not Blitzwing.
That's
Blitzwing.
Starscream. I
No,
No.
no.
It's not?
Are you talking about when he has like the pilot in the like the helicopter?
Yeah.
That's Blackout.
Blackout. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay.
And he had a. That might not have been Blackout. I think that was on Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh,
But I know one of them drops a Scorpion. One of them drops Scorponok in Revenge of the
Yeah.
Fallen. I think it's technically a different helicopter, but it's the exact same design.
For a while, the only way that I would feel better every day is if I got a TikTok about the Megatron from Universal Studios talking shit
Oh,
to
yeah.
somebody. Like every day I would just scroll
I
through
love that.
until I got one, and I was like, my day could start now.
When I was younger, I met that Megatron.
Yeah, I saw him. I've seen him a bunch of times. He's really funny.
Yeah,
Like
he is
whoever
funny.
that is, you're doing a great job. Keep it up.
I think he's a voice actor. Well, I don't know
Yeah, I
if the actual
think
guy
he's-
in the suit is, but the guy who does
Yeah,
the
it's
voice is obviously a
different,
voice
yeah.
actor. But I remember one time he saw because I think he does like a JoJo voice or something. Like I think he plays in JoJo, and he saw a guy wearing a JoJo shirt, and he asked him. He was like, "I think," and then he said the character that he plays, the dub version, is a superb performance. It was pretty funny.
that's crazy.
I actually don't know who it is.
I need to look it up. or
I
something.
think it's like a slightly minor character. I don't know much about JoJo, but I remember seeing that TikTok.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't know much about computers. Anyway, I'll get to the second question then. What's your least favorite thing about yourself?
I would say probably the amount that I criticize myself. I think that sometimes I kind of hold very high expectations for myself when I shouldn't. Like I should realize that I'm just like a human. But yeah, I mean, I would say probably just the amount that I criticize myself and the level that I hold myself to.
Like how hard you are on yourself?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because like there's moments where I probably seem completely normal, but I feel like the stuff that I'm doing seems weird to everybody else, and I'm probably I feel like I just kind of overthink myself a lot.
But you were totally fine going up to three strangers in a pub in
Yeah.
another country.
Yeah.
You are too hard on yourself because that's honestly like I'm still not over that you did that, but like whatever. That's like really cool to me.
Yeah.
What would you say is something you did recently criticize yourself about, like a minor situation?
I remember there was a time at work where I started to feel really bad because I saw how close everybody was at my work, and I thought like, oh man, what's wrong with me where I'm not super close with a lot of the people that I work with?
Mm-hmm.
But then I think about it, and I'm like, oh, I've got my own relationships outside of work. I kind of make that known at work, so a lot of the people at work probably just assume that I'm busy and don't ask me to hang out because they already assume that I've got stuff on all the time.
Yeah.
Which I kind of do. Like, I'm always kind of doing stuff.
Yeah, you're always busy.
Yeah.
But I get that. I felt like that at work before too.
Yeah.
Also too, like working with people and being friends with them, sometimes that's like a vibe that people don't cross. Like they don't want to do that.
And I mean, I already do have some pretty good friends from work.
Yeah.
I hang out with pretty regularly.
Yeah. But I get that. Last question is, what is something that you wish other people understood about you more?
Good question. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of an answer to this.
That's okay. That's okay. Take your time.
It's always a difficult one.
Something I wish people understood more about me. I don't know, probably just my willingness to learn about people. Like, I feel like a lot of people have a hard time kind of revealing stuff about themselves. I'd like to, I like to get to know people, but sometimes I find it kind of hard when sometimes I have a hard time just asking questions about people.
Yeah.
And obviously that's not on them, but, like, I just like it if more people revealed stuff that they want me to know about them without me having to fully ask the question.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not somebody who talks about myself a lot if I'm out in a social situation. So, like, if they don't ask me, I literally will never tell anyone anything about my life.
Yeah, which is, again, it's not anybody's fault. It's just, it's hard.
I'm just always under the assumption no one wants to hear what I have to say, so I just don't say anything unless asked.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people might also be under that assumption. So, like, you could just start asking and don't feel bad about it. It makes people feel good when you ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, that's interesting though. I don't know. What would you want to know about people?
I don't know, just like what they do for fun, what they're interested in. I mean, those aren't very hard things to ask, but sometimes, it's just hard to ask that in a situation. Like, I feel like sometimes asking that just seems kind of, like, socially tone deaf. Like, when you're, like...
Whoops.
What?
I do it all the time.
No, I don't think it's tone deaf, but I do agree. Sometimes it's like, so what do you think? What do you do for fun?
Like,
It's
sometimes-
it's like a bit forced.
Yeah, like sometimes I feel like when I do ask that, like, it'll sound forced or it'll sound kind of...
But I think that barrier sometimes, if you don't have anything to say, I mean, you can either not do anything, which, it's fine, but, like, if you want to get to know people, sometimes you just have to force it and
Yeah.
just, like, to start the conversation if you don't
I
have
always
anything to
ask.
say.
I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes I find that it's really hard to ask people that, and sometimes I find that it's really easy. Like,
It's vibes.
yeah, it's entirely based off of vibes for me. That's usually how I go. Like the night that I went up to those guys in the pub, it was just I had good vibes that night. Some
Probably
nights I
because
don't.
they're drunk.
Well, I wasn't drunk yet.
No, they were probably drunk.
Yeah, I think they had a few drinks, but it's whatever.
No, I am always asking questions. I find that I can't, like, uphold, like small talk conversation. So I constantly am like, so what do you think about, like, dying? Like, ask something really fucking weird like that,
I got asked that at work once. I was like, "Why?"
At work?
One of my coworkers, kind of a strange person. She asked how I thought I was gonna die, and I was like, okay, that's
I
weird.
like whoever that is.
I was weirded out because I was at work, obviously.
Yeah, if it's after work, maybe, yeah, I can kind of get it. At work, when you're
It
working
kind
at
of sounds
the...
like a threat.
I don't maybe don't out this person who's like working at the happiest place on earth. So it's like,
I didn't really know what to say. I was like, I don't know. I hope it's fast at least.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about how I was going to die a lot. There's a whole list.
You too, huh?
yeah.
Wait, how do you think you're going to die, Zomner?
I mean, I would like to die in a bed surrounded by my loved ones, and then and then realizing, like, oh, this is the way I'm going, and then hope that in my funeral I have like 200, 300 people, like just like people of like are gonna be there, and it's
like
like,
a fantasy. I think it'd be funny if I got blown up.
no, I don't want to get
Like
blown
entirely
up,
blown up, just like
No,
like Team Fortress 2 style, like
All right, Gibbs, and gore everywhere, or just
yeah, like
right.
you see like the model of my eye just
Right.
fly out.
Yeah. No, that's not me. I thought about like the worst ways to die, and that's too depressing.
What, getting blown up?
No, that's not in the.
Getting blown up is kind of instant. So.
Yeah, that's the good part of it. It's like instant. Now, if you get blown up and you're alive, that's bad. Like, no, actually, if you have trauma, it might not
If
actually
you get blown up, like if your legs get blown off, that would suck.
Oh, well,
but the trauma in that should be also be so much that you are not gonna
Feel it. You
feel
would
it.
just be in so much shock.
Yeah. It's like, it's not that bad at the first. I mean, it sucks. It's
like
the
a Team
absolute
Fortress
worst.
2 style getting blown
Yeah.
up would be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a step on a landmine, or just like
Like get hit by a rocket.
okay. Okay. All right. I'm not doing that. All right. I don't know how to continue this.
Demo
It's
man
like-
fires a sticky
I mean,
bomb.
let me talk about ways of dying. Like drowning, not great. It's like
No,
it's
it's
like just stop. Getting burned, absolutely not.
That
Yeah,
would be
no,
very
no.
painful.
No to that
That'd
one.
be
No.
painful.
Poisoned, no, I don't want to.
Poison. It depends on how the poison works. If it's like an instant poison,
There's no instant poison really.
in like a hypothetical.
Neurotoxins are like suck. Like you just stop, your body stops slowly working, and you are in a terror of like it's happening. Like
You
no,
sound like
it's
you know from experience.
No, but it's like no, but like scientific wise, okay, I don't know exactly. And there's actually a book I should read about. It's called like what is it called? It's called like not terror. It's called it's like one word. It's this like pop sci British like science lady did like a series, like a book about like the near death experiences and like people dying, and it was basically going into detail of like how the people's last moments of dying are and like with the science behind it. It was like it was recommended in a like RPG person, and I was
Of
like
course.
and like it was about weird esoteric stuff, and I'm like
If my head got cut off, like that would be kind of like an instant swipe.
okay, but it has to be like in your like so that it, I mean, of course the blood work from your brain has to go off, but I think it's
Because your head would be alive for a
yeah,
tiny bit after.
I think it's your spinal cord has to be like separated pretty fast, because that's the like the connecting part. That's like if that goes off, then you don't feel anything, and I think that's be fine. But if it like starts from your like throat up, no, I don't want to feel that. No, cutting throat, no. It's,
No, if my head gets cut off from the back, that
right.
would be ideal.
yeah, beheading. Okay, beheading style. Yeah.
Guillotine.
Yeah, guillotine. Yeah. I think guillotine, like, honestly, what I've read about, like, death penalty method, sorry, we're getting brutal here, like, hanging, awful. Like, I
Yeah.
thought chemical injections, I thought that was the best way to go. Then I read about a bunch of papers, like, it said,
I think you're
Oh,
alive
yeah.
for a little bit.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
and
you
so
are.
many of those are absolutely not done
Some
by
of them
medical.
fail.
Yeah, fail
Yeah.
and not done by any medical professionals. And
You're
it's
only
like,
half dead.
yeah, it's like no, that's awful. So I'd rather take guillotine in that regards.
Holy shit.
Electrocution, no, they're definitely not doing that. Anyway, all this grim talk. What was the original question about death and
yeah,
talking
how,
about-
How would
think
you
you're
wanna
gonna-
die?
Yeah.
how would you want to die?
At Disneyland, yeah.
Yeah, if they put me on guillotine, yeah, sure, that's all right.
Just get blown up. You know, Team Fortress 2 style getting blown up.
Yeah, so I don't.
I think I'll die from cancer for sure. That's like obvious, I think.
I don't like I don't know.
Well,
Cancer, it's like,
But how I want to die
Yeah, that's the question.
would be like, no, I think I asked him how he thinks he's gonna die, but I
Oh.
don't remember.
I just did how I wanted to.
How I'd want to die, I feel like, I've thought about getting eaten by a cool cat, a giant cat.
Okay. That'd be very painful.
Yeah, but like at least I'd get to hang out with it. Do
Well, you
know
wouldn't
what I
really get
mean?
to it would be mad at you the entire time that you're hanging out.
Well,
with
no, it would be like yummy. It would be like I'm eating you.
it. Well, yeah, but if you're hanging out with it and you're still alive, the cat is still actively also trying to kill you.
Yeah, but that's like fine because then at least I get to be somebody's food.
Full cat, he has glasses on.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
okay,
he's
if he has
really
glasses
neat.
on,
Yeah, he's
alright,
got
okay.
glasses on. He has a PhD. He's really
But
smart.
he's not smart enough to know not to just eat
well,
people.
yeah, because
Where do you-
he's really hungry.
Okay,
So
I'm
he
gonna
went
go
to
with.
school surrounded by other cats.
Yeah.
Okay, but okay, let me go with this. I'm gonna go with this hypothetical way of dying. Where do you think the cat is gonna start? Is it starting from feet, or starting from torso, or like hands? Where?
Well,
I'm
she
just-
wants to hang out with it.
Okay, I'm assuming I've tried to hug it. So it's like, whoa, why are you doing that? So it like slices my belly open, right?
Oh, okay.
yeah.
okay.
That's
And then like
painful.
all my like organs like just like fall out.
Okay, it
Ugh.
starts from the torso.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he's just like, oh, that smells great. And then he just starts going for it.
But you're bleeding to death at the same time. I don't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
it's
he's
like-
being all cute about it. He's purring.
You're not gonna care how cute it is because you're gonna be dying.
Yeah, but I feel like I won't care. I feel like my pain tolerance is really high, and I'd be in such shock that I wouldn't. I'd just be like, "Wow, what a cool cat." Like,
Okay.
I don't think so, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'm going with the.
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to
to.
fall. I don't want to drown. I don't want to burn. I've
think
tried to
getting blown
kill
up is the
myself
best
a bunch
option.
of different ways. Trigger warning. So like, I already know those feel bad.
Okay, still keeping on the subject matter, but it's like I mean, the classic thing is like, oh, having a fear of flights and like fear of like dying in a plane crash. That's a very common thing I'm thinking of. Like every time I go to a plane, it's like, oh, I hope this plane doesn't crash. I hope this plane doesn't crash. It's like, and then I think about statistically,
You and I have different brains.
is like there is such a high chance of me getting into a car accident every time I go into a car. And
I think
getting
that's like
killed.
one of the worst ways to
Yeah,
die.
yeah.
I
And
do.
it's like, and why am I worried about some plane crashing instead of like a car, instead of every time going to a car and going to the one of the busiest highways in
Like
the
it's
world?
the
And it's just
scale
like,
of things.
Yeah.
A plane feels bigger. You know, a
Yeah.
plane feels more foreign to you because you're not really flying that often. Whereas
Yeah.
in a car, you're always driving, which it contributes to the fact that it's more common to die in a car crash.
yeah,
But you're so used to a car that it's like, well, I'm so used to this, it doesn't really
Right,
feel as
right.
dangerous.
I think the main way I don't want to die would be anything that involves human error. So no car crash, no plane. Well, sometimes plane crash isn't human error, but like anything that's somebody's fault, because I don't want people to feel guilt for me dying. That's why it'd be
Yeah.
cool if it was an animal or like, you know, like a nuclear explosion. Like I'd be okay with that. I think.
well, that's someone's fault. That's the
A nuclear
that's
explosion would be.
Yeah, but that
a major
person
fault.
isn't gonna feel bad about it though.
Because they're also probably gonna be
Yeah,
dead.
they're
No.
they whoever's gonna, if we ever get nuked, that person knows that they're doing something wrong already. So I don't care if they feel bad about it or regret it one day. So yeah, there's that.
Also, they won't specifically
oh,
regret
getting
you.
eaten by a bird. That sounds
You're
good
Prometheus
too.
over here.
What kind of bird?
Like a giant, like an eagle. Like I was thinking that when we were at the zoo the other day. I was like,
I was-
man, what if this eagle eats me?
Yeah, that said that's some Prometheus shit. Like
Yeah.
you can eating your liver every day.
Yeah,
It's like-
yeah. I would like that. My liver probably doesn't taste good though, but yeah.
I think that's some I don't remember what that is a way of like torture kill someone, was to basically lay them down somewhere and put some food on their stomach and just like chest open and let like crows and like other birds to come up and then like pick on you to eat you alive. And
Right.
it's like
They start teasing you.
yeah,
They pick on.
Yeah, they just start like heckling you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, crow. Anyway, this has been a morbid moment in the podcast.
Speaking of morbid things, Jeff knows a lot about history, right? You say like you're a history buff. Would you call yourself that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm into the very like, I feel like I'm into the very mainstream history stuff, which is like modern history with World War I, World War II, going through the Cold War. I feel like you go to like a really serious history buff who's like super honed in on one subject, and you tell them, "Oh, I'm a history buff," and they're like, "Oh, okay, what do you study?" And it's like, "Oh, World War I and World War II." They kind of roll their eyes 'cause it's like that's what a lot of history buffs are into.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really interested in that stuff. That's why London was super cool, because the museums that they have there for that stuff are really good. Like the Imperial War Museum is mainly a World War I and World War II museum with like a slight emphasis on the Cold War. I think we were already talking about the Imperial War Museum.
Yeah.
But the RAF Museum, the Royal Air Force, they had a lot of really cool stuff there. They had a lot of World War I and World War II airplanes, as well as like Cold War airplanes as well, that were very interesting. And then the Churchill War Rooms, of course, as well, are very historically significant spot.
So we were watching. This is like 2 years ago now. The Jungle Cruise, right? Just me and Jeff, and I was like talking about like what was going on in the world at that time, because what did it take place in like the 1920s or some shit?
It takes place during World War I. I think it's
Okay,
like
yeah.
1915 or 16 or something in that movie.
Yeah. And so I was asking him questions about it, and I realized, like, because I went to Catholic school, I didn't learn any history whatsoever that was true or accurate. Like, for example, when we learned World War II, it was like very what the fuck's the word? Zionistic? Is that a word? Zionist? I don't know. Whatever.
I mean,
Because we
what's
were
the-
like kind of leaned into the space where it's like, well, the Jews killed Jesus, so like.
no, that's the opposite of
Yeah, the anti-Zionist.
That's anti-Semitic.
I'm anti-Semitic.
Oh yeah,
Semitic,
yeah, whatever.
yeah.
So like.
Zionist would be like
pro-Israel.
Very pro-Israel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So yes, it is opposite. So like they hated Jewish people, and so when we learned about World War II, it was like, oh well, they killed Jesus, so they kind of deserved Hitler. And I was like, that seems not right. That seems wrong.
Yeah, that's very.
But I was recently talking.
Catholic schools in Philadelphia sound crazy because I have friends who went to Catholic school or like a Christian kind of school here, and they were taught a little bit more normally kind of history stuff, obviously with an emphasis on religion. But like, I feel like if you go to most Christian Catholic schools in like California, you'll probably learn World War II, and the Nazis will obviously still be in a bad light.
Well, this is the woke country over here, so that's probably why.
Or the normal thinking area, but yeah,
that might be it. But like, I was just talking to a mutual friend of ours about this. Like last week, we went over to his place, and he said the same shit. He's like, "Yeah, like I learned that in Catholic school too." Like, so it definitely isn't just me. I think it might just be like a very Irish Catholic, like hardcore thing.
The Nazis were very against religion in general.
Yeah.
Like, because to them, like God wasn't a big factor. Like their main allegiance was obviously to Germany, as well as the idea of like an Aryan race, and they had all this weird shit. Like they were going after all this mythological stuff and all this weird stuff.
It's all fake.
I think that it's all fake shit. But like I think the main religion that they were like interested in was like paganism, as well as
but they still had to work with the church because church was still a big part of Germany.
Yeah, so like the Nazis did have church, like they did have
Lutheran
or
Lutheran or
whatever sect of like Catholicism was popular in there.
I think Germany has, to my knowledge, been for a long time being like a Protestant church, but they still, when you World War started happening, and there's like, okay, we have the Catholic Church still having influence on a lot of these countries and whatnot. So like, I don't remember how they made the peace, but essentially Pope made the peace with Hitler and the Mussolini and stuff. I don't remember exactly details, but like, there's definitely like that's how they remain neutral. I don't know how if it would have continued more if they would have essentially been crushed. But as you said, paganism was a big thing especially in the early on.
And a lot of like Scandinavian kind of mythology as well. Like Norse mythology was very not like a practiced religion, but like a lot of their beliefs were based around like you look at like Himmler and all that shit with the SS, where it was like they were really getting into Norse mythology for the war, like with runes and stuff.
Yeah, occult stuff.
Yeah, that kind of occult stuff. Right?
I think it comes from like a little bit from just having so many people, weirdos, who were really interested into that like Eastern style, like theosophical, like philosophies of like, and then they're like, no, this explains why Aryans and the white race is like the thing, and that's why everything is true, to try to find from the history. And with this kind of like, this was like not New Age comes like much later, but like the late 1800s like philosophy like of taking influence from the East, and that's why like Aryan comes from there, because that was an actual tribe somewhere in the India, like northern parts of India. So it's crazy. It's like
it's funny now because when you look at Aryan, like the actual descendants of like the Aryan tribe would be like modern day like Indians.
Yeah, and so it's like very wacky, very dumb like stuff, and
a lot of
like,
weird beliefs. that the Nazis had.
Yeah, and just like no, we put them together and create this kind of.
I didn't know any of this, by the way.
And it's like, and I think most people are not.
This is stuff that probably wouldn't have really been taught in much history.
No.
This is like kind of deeper dive kind of stuff.
So you get into occult stuff and they start believing in Agartha and the Hollow Earth.
Agartha and all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, Hollow Earth.
Hollow Earth. That's from Godzilla. Huh.
Hollow Earth is some 1800 late bullshit stuff.
It's some belief that there's like a paradise essentially in the middle of the Earth.
Yeah, and it's like it's kind of related to there's of course the flat Earth stuff. There's the Atlantis and the Lost Island, a lost continent of Mu and stuff like it comes from the same thing of like people trying to understand history who actually don't have any historical or geographical knowledge.
Just making shit up, it sounds
pretty much, and then just people like, well, he said it, so it must be true.
Again, the Nazis' beliefs were based on weird history stuff.
Yeah.
Like there was context for those beliefs, but the way that they would misshape them was kind of strange.
Yeah.
But the reason that I during that movie realized that I'm a fucking idiot is because, like, I don't think we learned anything about World War One in school, and like I was so oblivious. I was like, Jeff, tell me about this, and he just dumped the whole story of World War One on me.
Cause, yeah.
Like, and I had no fucking idea. What was it, Franz Ferdinand died?
Yeah, so the start of World War One was due to the assassination of the Archduke of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Franz Ferdinand.
I knew it. I know
Yeah,
these things now.
which is...
That's a band.
At
that time, I was just like, that's the name of a band. I had no fucking idea.
I was assuming right now that that's the reason you remember that too.
Yeah,
because
it is.
Of the band.
It literally is.
But the reason that the Archduke was assassinated was because at the time the Austro-Hungarian Empire was occupying or had control over the country of Serbia, which would go on to join the Yugoslavian country and then is now itself back to being Serbia after the fall of Yugoslavia, which occurred in, I believe, like the early
90s. Yeah. Late 80s essentially started stuff. But anyway, 90s.
That's not that long ago.
That's not that long ago.
It's very
Yugoslavia
recent.
started, I think, like during World War II.
Yeah, pretty much.
It started as like or maybe like right before World War II it started. I think. I'm trying to remember, but
You can look it up.
we'll go back to World War One obviously here. With the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, because at the time the Austro-Hungarian Empire was in control of Serbia. Serbia didn't want this, so there was a group called the Black Hats.
Black Hand.
Black Hand. I don't know how I forgot that, but
Separatists.
they were a Serbian separatist group who wanted to not be a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
I know that term from Star Wars, separatists.
Yeah, and it just means a group that wants to separate. They assassinated the Archduke. He was shot when the driver tried to take a shortcut to get back because there were already multiple assassination attempts on them that day because they were just doing like a motor parade through the streets of I'm trying to remember what city they were actually.
Was it in Zagreb?
I don't remember, but I know they were in Serbia, obviously.
No, okay, Zagreb is in Croatia. Sorry.
Yeah.
But anyway, he got shot. I think they went to a court and they basically said like, "Oh, these separatists did the killing, like sentenced to death. This caused like revolts and like riots over the thing." And
essentially, though, this caused Austria-Hungary to want to go to war with Serbia.
Right.
And then them preparing to declare war on Serbia brought the Russian Empire into the picture because the Russian Empire had ties to Serbia because
they had an alliance.
Yeah, they were big, both like Eastern European nations, both Slavic. They felt, they had historical ties to each other, and this also caused France to join in because France has historical ties to the Russian Empire.
We didn't rely on that.
And then this would bring in Germany, who has
Prussia.
ties. No, it was the German Empire at the time.
Oh, no?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. The German Empire, which has ties to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. They're both majority German-speaking nations. I know that Austria-Hungary, at the time of World War I, had a lot of different nations, but like specifically, it was run by primarily German-speaking ruling class.
Yeah, we cannot even get into. I'm not as well versed with the European aristocracy because they're all cousins with each other.
Yeah, they're all related to each other.
Yeah,
I know. Like, if I remember correctly, like Kaiser Wilhelm was like related to the one of the British. Like, I think like him and King George, who were both ruling at the time, because King George was
Germany and England respectively.
Yeah. Were related to each other in some way, like somehow closely related actually too. I think they're like first or second cousins or something. But yeah, this caused Germany to join in on the side of Austria-Hungary because again, ties to each other. And then this would also bring in the British, who had ties to the French and the Russians. And then basically everybody joined in at this point.
Yeah, it's like Italy and put in there as well. And,
yeah, Italy came in as well. The Ottoman Empire would come in later.
Yeah, they were also not happy.
Is this a stupid question? But America exists.
Yes, America exists.
Okay.
Yeah, this is 1914. America began existing in 1776.
So yeah, but America doesn't come into play until like
1917.
Yeah, because they saw this happening in Europe, and they were like, we don't want nothing to do with it.
Well, it makes sense. We didn't want part in a European war because it wasn't related to us at all. Neither side at this point really was doing any wrongdoing until the actual war starts.
Yeah.
I know when the war starts, which is only a few weeks later after the assassination. I know when the Germans were invading France and Belgium, they had killed a lot of civilians when they had entered because they were worried about those civilians, essentially like backstabbing them, working against them with the French and Belgian armies.
Mm-hmm.
So they were just killing a lot of French and Belgian civilians.
Mm. Now, you've given a lot of background on like why the war started, but also I think it's good to talk about a bit of the background, like why the war is, why it's called World War, not only because so many countries are in there, but how like technologically like things were at that point.
So World War I would say, is one of the very first modern wars. When you actually think about the way that wars work. Prior to World War I would say a lot of the wars that you see, they're still using like the line infantry tactics where everybody marches in a line, everybody's using muskets and taking their turns to fire. World War I is one of the first times where you start to see like individual soldiers just firing whenever they want. You start to see a lot of the machine gun be used because, prior to this, the machine gun was used a lot, especially by the British Empire. I know the Russians also used the machine gun frequently because the Russians had the Maxim gun.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, I think the Maxim gun was originally a British gun.
Okay.
Here, Maxim, yeah. But you start to see them using them in like colonial conflicts, like during the Boer Wars.
Transformation, because of the Industrial Revolution, you had factories to make.
Yeah, that produced lots and lots of weapons.
Yeah, and then you have, because you have like connections with stuff, you had trains, you had automobiles.
Yeah. It starts to get easier to bring these heavier kind of weapons to the war.
And also move infantry much more faster. Usually you had to people march
by ship.
or horseback and stuff like that. Now you don't have. Now you can just like build a train track and just like move them. What would have take weeks,
en masse.
and now it takes days. Like,
but World War I, you start to see a lot of modern stuff. You see the invention of tanks during World War I. You see the first use of planes in a military setting. Because prior to this, planes were kind of just a novelty. The Wright brothers, I believe their first flight was 1901, 1902.
It's on the turn of the century, yeah.
Yeah, it's very early 1900s, but World War I is 1914 to 1918. So you start to see the use of military aircraft, bombs being dropped from planes. I know during World War I, they were experimenting a lot with planes. They were dropping spikes from planes just on top of trenches that would just stab soldiers. Like, you start to see stuff like that. Airships. We don't really see airships during World War II a
Zeppelins.
lot. The Zeppelins. But World War I, you see airships a lot. They're used for reconnaissance, which is, just spotting stuff. They're used for bombing. They would drop bombs. I know during the actual war, the Germans successfully bombed London like once or twice with airships. Primarily fire bombs, so that they would try to set the city on fire, which is something that they did during World War II as well. The German planes would drop a lot of different kinds of bombs during World War II. They would drop these giant parachuted bombs that would come down and then break through the roof and then explode and just set fire to everything. These little tiny bombs that would also try to start tiny fires. And then with the British during World War II, you got to see a lot of they would set up units at home specifically to combat that, like the fire wardens, the air wardens. The home guard, who were like soldiers that were set up to hopefully repel a possible German invasion of Britain. Although we're getting off track here because we were talking about World War One.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, World War One. I think it's just to understand, like, okay, you have a bunch of stuff happening that hasn't before. Like, of course, you had cannons before, but now you have artillery,
Like dedicated artillery.
Yeah, just like okay,
long range artillery. Like
you can, from miles distance, you can shoot.
Back then, a lot of artillery was just like direct fire.
Yeah.
Whereas like a howitzer, and you like would see the people that you're actually firing at.
Yeah.
But World War One, you start to see. World War One, you start to see a lot of, indirect fire, which is where you're firing
At a position.
from miles away,
Yeah.
and you cannot see what you're firing at.
Yeah, and then when you're in the end of that, and then you just
You have zero clue what's going on.
yeah, and it just comes at you, and it's the most horrifying
You see
thing.
trench warfare. That's a new form of combat that you see in World War One.
Yeah,
Trench combat was very brutal.
yeah,
And the way that
Bad way to die.
a very bad way to die. Yeah, very bad way to live too, because you would the conditions in the trenches were not good at all.
Yeah.
You would get because you're surrounded by mud every day, so you get horrible like fungus diseases. You would get like trench foot.
Yeah, trench foot.
Obviously you're at war and you're just in the middle of a field firing at each other, so you can't really properly bury anybody.
yeah.
So you just have random dead bodies everywhere.
Would they eat them?
They would. They wouldn't really. Cannibalism wasn't very rampant during World War One.
Very taboo. Yeah.
But you would see rats would just be everywhere eating the bodies.
Well, that's good.
I guess for the rats, I guess.
Yeah, for humans, very
Yeah.
dehumanizing. But like
It's a very dehumanizing thing if you're living in a trench and you see your dead friend being eaten by rats.
That's true. That's fucked up.
And of course, you have the chemical warfare.
Chemical warfare, yeah. You see the introduction of gases, chemical agents. You see the introduction of mustard gas, phosgene gases, chlorine gas, all horrible.
Even if you,
But surprisingly, mustard gases didn't really account for a lot of deaths.
no,
It was mainly like a scarring thing. You
Yeah.
would usually get sent back you'd usually get sent to the rear and just held in a field
Debilitating.
hospital
Yeah.
for like a month or two.
Yeah, it's
And then
like
they'd send you back.
yeah, that's the worst thing is like not because you die because of the gas thing. No, it fucks up your system for life. Like
Yeah,
it's
no, it's
horrifying,
it horribly scars you.
yeah, and
Let's see what else is introduced during the war. Tanks.
yeah, we talk about tanks, but in general, like I've seen some documentations on like the first encounters in war about the tanks. It's just like the most horrifying thing. Not only because they were like, for the one side it's like, oh, this is gonna win us war, and it's like it had a hard time to even traverse
It had like a maximum speed of like 5 miles per hour.
yeah, and it's like when you're inside you cannot really see it. Also the mechanisms in there is just like really tight and uncomfortable and like trying to be in
it's
there.
hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. They don't
And-
have proper ventilation because
Yeah.
this is World War One, so
Yeah.
they don't really care about that.
Yeah, so tanks, in essence, I mean, not much, but it still had a psychological effect because when you see that thing coming and it's not stopping and it's firing on like
And tanks would.
all
Tanks
sides.
are important to mention though because again, it is an invention from during the war, but it would also play a major role in the next major conflict, which was World War II.
Yeah, and
I'd say tanks are probably one of the more important weapons used during World War II.
yeah, it's horrifying. Like
Yeah. What else is introduced during World War One? The flamethrower.
yeah,
The flamethrower, which is horrifying.
One of them horrifying.
But the context that they're using it in World War One does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean,
When you're clearing out a tightly packed trench full of soldiers, flames just kind of make sense.
I still think it's very humane to kill other people.
Oh
by
yeah,
burning
it's
their
definitely
lives.
inhumane.
Like,
But when you're looking at it from the context of like, you're not looking at the enemy as humans.
Yeah.
You're looking at them as just
Yeah.
the enemy.
I think that is the biggest thing is like the dehumanization is the big thing because before that, like, sure, it's the enemy
You
force
see a lot of
enemy
propaganda. Propaganda
Yeah.
started to become such
Right.
a big thing in World War One,
Yeah.
which I think in conflicts before World War One, propaganda didn't play as much of a role.
I think it did, but through the mass media, like you have now radios and like big pressings and like
Like you see really widespread propaganda being used during World War
Yeah.
One, which you just didn't really see much of in prior conflicts.
yeah, not as big. And then Yeah,
Spies as well. You see a lot of spies.
spies.
I mean, spies have always been kind of a thing.
Yeah, in the
But World War One like saw the use of spies.
reconnaissance in general, like getting
Yeah.
intelligence gathering, became more and more needed as that information became more needed to advance.
I would say the modern way that we see spies came from World War One. Like the way that we see spies nowadays, where it's like they have special equipment and all this stuff, came from World War One. Probably more World War Two, but World War One also saw use. Like very light use.
To me, what I've learned, it's like, I mean, there's definitely like Romans had their own spies, and like you talk about like British court had like a court spies, and French court had their like own spies, but they were more like, oh, what did you hear about this kingdom, or like send as a diplomat for a different country.
Yeah.
But then like actual like military like reconnaissance stuff, like
counterintelligence
counterintelligence stuff, like it starts in the First World War and becomes more prevalent in World War II. Yeah. But
the Cold War is like where it reaches the maximum.
Now I'm like I'm like here. Yeah, of course I know this information and everything. Now was radar at the end of World War One? Now I don't remember. Was that World War Two?
Radar was heavily World War Two. I don't believe you really saw much of it in World War One.
But you know what did start in World War One? I know submarines. I think the first
submarines did start in World War One. Actually, even before that. Yeah, I know during the Civil War, during the American Civil War, I know the...
No way.
Yeah, it's, again, very, very simple submarines. Like, they wouldn't go that far down. They had, like, breathing tubes and stuff. But the Confederacy did have a submarine.
Oh, wow.
I don't think it fired torpedoes or anything, but it was just, like, a reconnaissance kind of thing.
That's... because I remember...
But you start to see, like, actual submarines. Like, when you think of a submarine, you start to see that in World War One.
I think one of our, like one of the only existing Finnish submarines from like that era is like a leftover from World War One that we used in World War Two, and that's pretty much like it was more used in reconnaissance than fighting and stuff.
Yeah,
I've been inside of that thing. It's really small, but it's really fascinating.
No, World War One, you see the use of the Germans' U-boat. That's like the heaviest use of the submarine during World War One, I would say.
All right,
is they used it essentially the same way that they used it in World War Two, which is just to block shipping.
Yeah.
So who was against who in World War One?
In World War One, it was the Central Powers versus the Entente Powers. The Central Powers were the German Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and the Ottoman Empire, which nowadays you would know as Turkey.
Oh.
I forget where Do you remember who else was in World War? The Bulgarians. Well, they were a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
And Italians?
No,
the
Italians were Entente.
Entente,
and then the Entente powers were the British, the French, the Belgians, the Italians, the Russians, until Russia had to leave the war, because at home they started to have their own civil war, which is where you saw the rise of the
Bolsheviks.
I use the word rise a lot. Which is where you see the Soviet Union formed.
Yeah, because the Bolsheviks took over.
The Bolsheviks took over the Russian Empire. The Russian Empire was originally led by Tsar Nicholas. The Bolshevik Revolution was led by
Nicholas II. Sorry.
Wait, Tsar Nicholas II?
Yeah.
Who did I say?
Nicholas.
Oh yeah, Nicholas
first
II.
was like,
Yeah. And then the Bolsheviks were led by Vladimir Lenin. And then it was the Red Army versus the White Army. The Red Army won the Civil War, and then, in part, thanks to the Germans, actually, because Lenin was extradited out of the Russian Empire and went to Germany. And then in the middle of the war, Germany, wanting to disrupt the Russian Empire, sent Vladimir Lenin back. And Lenin helped spring up the revolution even more and helped them win the Civil War against the White Army.
Okay, so World War One's happening.
And then the Civil War starts in Russia.
Russia takes advantage of that, has a civil war.
Well, no, Russia doesn't take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's
I guess the Red Army would have taken advantage.
Basically, the people and the workers were basically like fed up with like the Russian Empire, and also the war. The war was like too much. Like, hey, why are we sending our people to die in this war that's like going on? That's not really our thing. So their people revolt against that idea of like the Tsarist Empire.
So who wins? Do the good guys or the bad guys win?
In what?
The Russian.
I don't know, but it's kind of black. It's not black and white
Okay,
because
okay.
it's the Red Army who are like the communists, but also like they're executing like the royal family as well.
Yeah, basically anyone who had like direct involvement with the
Or ties
family,
to
or
yeah,
basically in the leadership of the empire, basically like has to go. Like they cannot leave any trace of that stuff.
But
of,
the
like-
Red Army wins. So the communists win.
Do we like that or do we not like that?
We don't really like that because in the future that leads to the Cold War.
Well, that
and
leads to World War II.
that leads to World War II and the Cold War.
Okay.
But you know, it's
Depends
You
who
can't
you
you
ask.
can't really say like you can't really say because it's like, well, we don't really know how the future would have went if it stayed the Russian Empire as well.
Yeah, it's very very hard to say, but it is very interesting in a way that, like, I mean, this goes on back in the 1800s and talking about how like the workers' rights went with Marx and stuff like started to affect, and like how those things start to affect like on an ideological level on people in the late 1800s, and maybe you can attribute to that. That's also when you talk about the background for World War One of the biggest things that like the industrialization happened, like started to like things, you had trains and like factories making like all this stuff easier available, and for especially for war to escalate it as much. But like one thing I remember from history class talking about, like Prussia or like Germany, they were pretty much like they were like the smaller countries in up until like the 1800, like mid to late 1800s, until they came together, and then they were like they, as soon as they unified, they had like, you see, like compared to like America or like United Kingdom and even to Russia, their production level starts going like much higher than anyone else. They like grew in Europe like much faster than any other country, and due to the imperialistic view, they were like, oh, we want to be like one of those countries, we want to be like Great Britain, we want to take over smaller countries and do that kind of stuff. So that's already underlying there as these events of like murmuring of like nationalism and like socialism is happening all over different parts of Europe. So of like, hey, like let's forget this old system and let's do something new. Now the trouble is, now you have, it would have been much more simpler if there wasn't that much bloodshed and like technology to ease those things up, but that's what just happened and led to hundreds and thousands of I don't remember millions of people dying, and it's just like
What
just in general in the
Great War?
yeah
Like just for Russia or for
in general,
like millions.
yeah, millions, yeah, definitely, yeah.
So Franz Ferdinand dies. What country tries to kill him or kills him?
Serbia kills him.
And then
It's a smaller nation who, honestly, during the actual war, doesn't play that big of a part.
Yeah, it's
but that makes everyone mad.
That makes the
Austria-Hungary mad.
Yeah, and then Austria-Hungary being mad also
And then so
allows Germany to be mad as well.
they get mad and then they start the World War.
well, the World
War is kind of a collaboration when it comes to being started.
It's generally,
They want to declare war on Serbia, which is the smaller nation that assassinated him, but Russia, because it has ties to Serbia, wants to declare war on
biggest reason
Austria-Hungary.
the war escalated as much is because all these countries have alliances with different alliances. Like if this war starts, you are backing us up, and then the countries are like, well, we have this alliance, I guess we're going to war. And then the other country goes, well, those guys are going to war, I guess we're allied, we go to this war. And then just one by one, all these countries come together and start fighting each other, and that just leads up to the thing. And it's just like a convoluted mess that they thought once the war is ended and like, okay, we got Germany down, we got like Russia is backing off, and all these countries are like, okay, peace has been resolved. Now let's make something that it will never happen ever again. And then they didn't learn a thing. Because
World War II.
yeah, it's like because that's on the background of like, yeah, we won't do that again, and it's
Okay.
not
So
happening.
guy dies. This instance makes everybody mad. Everybody starts fighting. Russia then has a civil war that gets resolved. Are they back in now?
No.
once that's resolved,
The
or
Civil
they
War
just don't
keeps them
come
out of the
back?
war for the rest of the war.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the war continues after that. And then are there good and bad guys in World War One?
Again, I would say it's not really like World War II where it's super black and white, because both sides do questionable stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's no, I wouldn't say there's good
There's no
guys.
good or bad guys.
If you want to be like on a historian point of view, like who are the victors of the war, then we can talk about that. How
Yeah, we can talk about the people who won, which is
What side were we on?
the Entente powers. We were with Britain and France and all them.
It goes to. Okay, can you tell us how America gets involved?
Yeah, so there's two major contributing factors to the U.S. getting involved in World War One. The first one is the sinking of the Lusitania, which is a cruise ship that happened to have a lot of American citizens on it. During the war, the Germans were, as we were talking about before, using the submarine a lot to disrupt shipping and maritime vessels reaching the UK or Britain, the British Empire, I guess, at the time. One of the ships that they sink is the Lusitania, which, again, has American citizens on it. America gets news about this and is not very happy about the fact that American citizens just died for this war. But this doesn't entirely cause us to join the war, but it does garner public support against the German Empire and against the Central Powers. The second thing that really pushes us to join the war is the Zimmermann telegram, which is a telegram that the German Empire sent to Mexico, urging Mexico to join the Central Powers and go against America in preparation for us joining the war. Or basically, Germany had the worry that we were going to join the war, so they wanted Mexico to go to war with us. And they also said that if they won the war, that they would give American land back to Mexico. I don't even think it reaches Mexico because we intercept it before it does. But this is what actually pushes us to join the war. We joined in 1917. We play a major factor, actually, I would say, in the victory of the war because we're, obviously all these countries, they've already sent so many people out. All of their soldiers are very tired. They're not enthusiastic because they've been at war for 3 years at this point, because we joined in 1917. But when America joins the war, we've got like hundreds of thousands of fresh, young, enthusiastic soldiers who are ready to go and fight. So really, the Americans are bringing just basically 1914 energy to 1917.
Yeah, it's like fully fresh, fully like
ready
to
ready to fight.
Yeah,
ready to, because at the start of the war you have all the British soldiers and all the Canadians, New Zealanders, Australians, because the British Empire still has ties to all these nations: the Canadians, the British, all the Canadians, New Zealanders, countries. Australians, Indians. You see a lot of Indians in World War One as well, actually. But yeah, they all go and fight, and they're all, at the start of the war, at least in 1914, they're all thinking, oh, this is going to be a grand adventure. We're going to be done with this by Christmas. It'll be like the wars of the past, where it was very gentlemanly and everybody was very chivalrous. And
I think the most, I remember from like high school, the most iconic things is from France, not from Britain, but it's like the soldiers like who go to war. They're going with their bikes, and they all have like a white flower.
Yeah,
you
see a lot of
pocket.
pictures of the Germans when they're first marching into war have those flowers, like in their buttons, from all the ladies who are giving them.
Yeah, it's like, we're going gentlemanly, going to war, and then we like.
And then you see what modern war is because they were surprised, because obviously there's not ever been a war like this before.
Yeah.
And it's immediately just like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah, 70-80% people just never come back.
We're getting blown up. We're getting holes put through us by machine guns. We're getting stabbed by barbed wire and bayonets. But yeah, with the Americans joining the war, they have this idea that it's like, okay, this is going to be an adventure, and we're going to be able to fight. We're going to be able to show off the American spirit. Because I think like the last war that the Americans had been in, like the last major war that the Americans had been in with like a European nation, was like the War of 1812 or something. So the Americans come in, and yeah, they're fresh. They're ready to fight, and they fight pretty well.
Yeah.
I know that, like, one of the big things, like, I've even heard about it from my uncle because he's a Marine. Like, one of their big things that they remember is the Battle of Belleau Wood, which is like the Americans. It's in Belgium, I believe. I think it's in France, actually.
Okay.
but the Marines were fighting there, and there's Marines nowadays still go by Devil Dog, but the reason they go by Devil Dog is because back then they fought so fiercely during that battle that reports from German soldiers, they were calling them Teufelhunden, which is German for devil dogs, for the way that they were fighting. We also brought a pretty deadly weapon with us to war. We brought the shotgun, the trench gun at the time, which was mostly a hunting weapon, but the way that a shotgun works, it's got shells that fire a lot of little pellets out, and it would just tear people up. And the Germans were... it's funny, the Germans during World War I are using gas, flamethrowers, they're dropping spikes from planes, and then when we brought the shotgun in, they were talking about how horrifying it was and how it shouldn't be allowed in the war.
Oh.
That's coming from a guy. I think.
I mean, all nations were using those weapons.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time,
absolutely.
But like, it's funny that you come into a war where all these countries are using like all these horrifying weapons, and you're essentially using like a gun that you would have used back home for hunting, and they're calling it a horrifying weapon.
Yeah, you hunt people. You hunt animals with that. Now you shoot people. Are you hunting people? Eesh.
But I think the Americans played a pretty big part in the end of the war, at least.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely had an effect.
Unfortunately, World War I would bring about the Great Depression.
Yeah, it definitely had an effect on that, and definitely.
Is it because we put all our money into it?
Well,
there's a lot of things that contribute to it. Like a lot of currencies just lost their value. Like the German mark completely lost its value after the war. If I remember correctly, the Germans are still paying back their debts from World War I.
Oh well.
Or maybe they just recently finished paying them off. But at the end of the war, we had the Treaty of Versailles, which is like...
basically made into like, hey...
It was essentially turned into a punishment for Germany.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you are going to lose all this land that you had in control.
Yeah.
And it's just basically like, now...
They lost the Alsace-Lorraine, which was like formerly French territory. They had captured, I think, in like the early to mid-1800s.
Yeah.
They lost...
Basically,
an area that turned into Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, essentially they made like Germany the main culprit for the war, which they didn't even start. But since they had such an effect on the war, they basically like, no, you are taking the most of the punishment here, and we're gonna like scramble you up. And it's like, this is like mostly considered the reason why it's like it creates an effect of like.
This would like very directly lead to World War II.
Yeah, it's like how the people of Germany felt like
the shame and the guilt that was thrown onto the Germans at the end of World War I contributed majorly to the rise of the Nazi Party, which capitalized on that because it really allowed a lot of these disenfranchised Germans to feel more
justified.
Not justified, but feel more like pride to be German again. Because after World War I, Germany was kind of, again, shamed, where it was like, we not only did we lose the war, but they're also taking a whole bunch of our land. They're not letting us become a military anymore, they're not letting us have a military anymore, and then also we have to pay back everybody. Which again the Nazis would capitalize on.
It's like a divorce. Yeah.
Kind of like a divorce, I guess, but
they gotta pay alimony. They gotta give over their house.
Essentially, I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but it's also very funny because like Germany was like, they had a huge part of it, but there's like, I think a lot of I don't know.
But it's also like if you were told, like, it's also like if a part of the divorce, you would have to tell the other party, this was entirely my fault, even though it was like a both sides kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, the Nazis would really take advantage of the way that the German people were feeling at the time, and that's why it was so easy for them to get power.
Yeah. Is there anything else to say about World War One that wasn't mentioned? I think.
So we win, or
the on-top powers win. Yeah.
America wins and has a bit of an ego boost on that. Yeah.
And then Germany is like a punished child now.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, they're made to feel super little. They are not made to feel super little, but they're turned very little because, again, they aren't even allowed to have a military anymore.
How old is Hitler? Is he alive?
Yeah,
Hitler's alive. He served in World War One.
yeah, he was an officer.
What the fuck?
He was-
I did not know
He was an
that.
officer. He got
I
like
forget what year he was born. 1890.
yeah, he's an Austrian.
Okay,
it's
so he's like a mad little guy already.
no,
yeah, yeah.
He's an angry
'cause,
guy, and
During World War One, Hitler was a messenger for the German army. He
gets gassed. Like,
he gets gassed in a
What?
gas attack. Yeah,
Yeah.
He gets hit by mustard gas and is forced to be in, or he's in a field hospital at the end of the war actually.
yeah.
So he's not even fighting at the end of the war.
I'd never even seen a movie that had this in it.
Well,
Yeah.
either
I think there's a
for
Hitler
good
movie.
reason.
I think there is. There's a movie I've heard about that's about Hitler that does have this in it. I'm like,
This seems important. This seems like context that I should have had when I learned about Hitler, but like,
yeah,
whatever.
no, Hitler served during World War One. It's funny though. A lot of the people he surrounded himself, like a lot of the top Nazis, were unfit for service during World War One.
Yeah.
Like I know Himmler was.
Yeah, Goering.
Goering. Well, no, actually, no.
wasn't it?
Goering served in World War One. Actually, he was a flying ace in World War One.
Oh yeah, he did well, but then by the end
So
of
World War II is heavily influenced by this.
Oh
event.
yeah.
yeah, definitely is main
World War
cause,
One
like,
is like World War Two is definitely a direct effect of World War One.
Okay.
but there.
So
At the time, World War One, because again we didn't know that there'd be a second one, wasn't called World War One. It was just called the Great War, because it was such a large scale war with so many nations involved.
So he's existing. He's
Yeah,
Going
he's
through all
existed.
this
I think he was,
stuff.
I'm trying to remember what year he was born. I think he was born in 1890.
I don't remember
Do you
exactly.
his
I
birth
don't.
year?
Yeah.
I don't. It's not something I've memorized.
Yeah, of course. I think his 50th.
I don't know. We could go down the street and ask the neighbors. They probably know.
1889.
Because I think his 50th birthday is in like 1948. Not 48, 44 or something like that. It has
Yeah.
his birthday.
When
because
did he go to art school?
That was
I think
before
war, yeah.
World War
Okay,
One.
so he's a theater kid, and then he has to go to war.
Yes, pretty much. Wait, yeah. Actually, can you look up? He went before World War One.
He went to the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts in 1907,
Yeah,
and then he left for Linz, and then afterwards was
World War One.
Yeah.
That's no wonder. No wonder.
I don't know if a theater
rejected
is
by
just.
the
Yeah, rejected. Yeah, because it was like, nah, this kid has no talent. Yeah.
Yeah, you look at his paintings, and like you look at them now, and you're like, oh, okay, these are kind of cool paintings. But at the time, it's very much like, oh, these are just paintings of places. This is stuff that you see every day.
Yeah. Any more questions about Crystal you want to
War.
ask? Yeah.
Any more Hitler questions?
I mean, like, I
You have
think,
Hitler expert over
I
here.
think this is going to be a regular thing on the podcast at least once a month if you're down anyway. I'd like to learn a piece of history because all of this information is mostly new to me. And I think what better way to learn than from Jeff, really.
Yeah, or with him too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
How
you're
do
just.
you know so much? Like, it's like crazy to me.
From
Like
him.
him, like he just like knows these
I
things
mean,
passively.
most of this stuff was
Pretty
taught at
common,
school.
yeah.
That was,
Yeah, but like you remember it all, right?
No,
like
it was interesting to me.
I learned about like the Crusades. I learned about all of like the
I was taught about
Roman
Crusades.
Empire
Yeah, that
and
got taught
and all
actually.
that stuff. Like, but I don't like fully remember the super details of it.
I mean, we spent like 5th and 6th grade, and then 8th
You
and
learned
9th.
this in
Like,
grade school?
I think.
I remember learning about World
I
War II
didn't-
in elementary school.
I think I
It's
think
not
I don't
super
think,
in
Yeah,
depth,
super
but-
in depth. I knew it was happening, but when we got in depth in like 7th or 8th grade,
we
I
got in
think
depth
it's
in like high school.
yeah.
For me, at least.
Yeah, like I know we talked about it in high school, but
college.
like we never learned like any of the reasons or anything. It was just like America won. There you go. Like that was it. Like we like rushed right over.
No, we went
World
to
War
all
One.
the details, like why these countries went to war. What was the like, as Jeff explained, and the Central Powers, and like, and even stuff before that, like rising. No, that was maybe in like upper high school. Was talking about like the depression and the industrialization of Europe, and like the political situations that were going on. That like
I remember talking about the Industrial
yeah.
Revolution. and stuff
I mean,
like that.
I mean,
Yeah, I learned that. Like
mean,
for America.
and of
anyway.
course, I mean, we didn't go into talk about how people were just pissed at like, as nations had happened, like, biggest like national like effect that was Napoleon at the start of like
Yeah.
like
In the
1800s.
1890s. 1890s.
Yeah, no.
1870s.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and then there was like the 50, like there was pretty much no war for like 50 or 60 years in Europe, and I was like, there were conflicts, and of course you had a
lot of colonial stuff happening.
Yeah,
too.
and other parts, but mostly Europe was peaceful. And then at some point there's just like, we kind of don't like these like aristocrats, like, in control, and we kind of like don't like it. And then it's like as nationalism happened and countries started to
it's
actually
important to say that there wasn't a lot of wars happening, but a lot of class conflicts were happening within the nations.
Yeah, which is then tied to the industrialization, and then that then leads up to all this discomfortness, and that's why the Serbia situation happens, because all of a sudden people are like, well, wait, why are we under this country? We want to be our own people. We want to be our own nation, and then that leads to a bunch of conflicts of the past like 100 years are about that, of like, hey, we want to be, or like even 200 years of like, hey, we want to be our nation, and then all of a sudden that requires a power of violence to happen.
I mostly in grade school, I only learned like Revolutionary War for like 3 years. Like, and
that's
then
only learning about the Revolutionary War is kind of crazy.
yeah, like I think I learned about, I'm trying to remember specifically in grade school. Like I only remember learning about the Revolutionary War.
Guess that makes a little bit of sense, especially in Philadelphia, because that was such a big area.
Yeah, we learned about the birth of America.
One of the original colonies.
Yeah, we had to like know all that shit in grade school. But by the time I got to high school, it was like, okay, let's talk about the Romans and the Greeks and all this mumbo jumbo for like a really long time. I think that was like the whole first year of high school, and then the second year was like, here's a little bit of World War I. We'll skirt over that, and then we'll get right into World War II. And then the beginning of my third year, we got more into like, I think we talked about Vietnam, and then I left school, so I don't know what happened after that.
Yeah, Vietnam's very,
I still don't know the real truth about Vietnam.
I mean, we can go into at one point, but it's tied to World War One essentially. Is heavily.
That'll be next time. That'll be next time.
Next time we didn't even get to World War Two even.
I know. Well, like next time we'll do World War II, and then we'll do Vietnam.
Talk about World War II, yeah.
Because, my grandfather was in Vietnam, so like I have two sides of the story, where it's like my grandfather's side and all his like troop mates that I got to hear about when I was young. And then I have like the Catholicism version of it, which is, I guarantee, not the real version of what happened in Vietnam, which was that we won and that we did an amazing job and that it was a good war for God. And I don't think any of those things are true.
None of those are true.
Yeah.
Because I've heard your grandpa's account of Vietnam, and I think it's definitely... I think PTSD probably has a lot to play in the way that he says it.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything I've read and all of the veteran accounts that I've heard, the way that your grandpa describes Vietnam sounds a lot more horrifying than anything else I've ever heard. Because every other veteran account I've heard has talked about that kind of stuff, where it's like, yeah, we were killing civilians and stuff. But, like, you were talking about there being whole divisions that were just dedicated to, like, raping and killing people. Which,
yes.
That might just be a lot of PTSD playing a part, because...
Oh, I can get into the whole story another time. Like, I know all the details, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But not today.
Yeah, again, I think that might be his mind, like, playing into that. Cause
well, also, too, I mean, like, okay, Watchmen is not a fucking way to know about Vietnam. But in Watchmen,
in the cultural
they
context.
do have, like, the comedian has a scene where he does go through something similar. So I was like, that's what my grandpa went through. Like, so I just thought he was absolutely telling the truth.
Yeah, horrifying stuff was happening to...
And platoons or whatever were definitely doing things they shouldn't have.
There were massacres.
There were massacres, but, like, those were... That wasn't, like, every day.
No.
That wasn't an everyday thing in Vietnam. Like, those massacres were horrifying, and there were soldiers who spoke out against them. There were incidents like the My Lai massacre was the big one.
Yeah, and it got publicized, which immediately were like, no.
It was a village that had association.
Well, don't tell me now.
Oh, okay.
We'll do it another time.
I want to say, like, yeah, if you want to ever, I mean, we can talk about it later, but, like, for me, like, yeah, we talk about it in the Cold War context at school, but then, of course, I think for me, the best, like, learning experience. I don't know if it's the best way to do it, but it was a very informative. Was Ken Burns' 2017
Yeah, Ken Burns
documentary.
is the Vietnam War.
The
was
Vietnam
really
War is
good.
good, and
I would say that at some point we should watch a documentary like that.
it has Trent Reznor on the soundtrack. And so,
Oh, you've sold me.
Yeah, or The War as well is another really good one that I've
I've not seen
never
that.
actually watched all the way through, but it's a World War II one.
Okay.
There's the what's his name? Who did Lord of the Rings again?
Peter Jackson's.
Peter Jackson's They Shall Not Pass is a great World War One documentary.
They shall not. They shall not pass. They shall not grow old.
Oh yeah,
That's what Gandalf says. Gandalf.
Wait, but that quote actually does come from something that the French were saying about
Okay.
Right.
Verdun.
I mean, that makes sense
That's
because
a way cooler name for
I mean,
the movie,
that makes
though.
sense because
They Shall Not Grow Old is a good title though as well.
Yeah, and it's a good movie. I saw it in theaters when it came out.
I saw it in theaters as well. That was a great documentary.
But that makes sense because Tolkien was in World War One and he saw the horrificness of the war, which then played into.
Yeah.
I think I knew that.
It's like-
Well, there's that movie about Tolkien that recently came out. That
Yeah,
was
I never
like,
seen it, but yeah, about the war affecting, and that's why like when people were like, oh, why isn't the books? Why is he describing the war? Why is it all about natural stuff? Because he went to the war and it was like this is the most disgusting stuff
why
like
would he? That's
possible.
why I
Why
went
would
to fantasy.
it's like that? Like the awful. I don't want to describe like horrific violence. I've seen enough in my life.
Yeah.
It's like.
Oh, is that why he didn't like the fight scenes in the movie? Because
I mean, he was dead by the time the movie was
Oh.
done.
Yeah,
Somebody
Tolkien was
didn't
fighting
like
in
them.
Tolkien was fighting in World War One. He's at least like 90 by the time those movies are coming out.
I don't remember. Was he dead by that point?
He was probably dead already.
I don't
it's like-
fucking know.
I mean,
Anyway, this is an episode of the Self-Report podcast, and hopefully this becomes a regular little feature that we do. We're getting it at almost 2 hours, so we will try and wrap it up because there's a lot of history to learn, and I don't know any of it
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Um,
You feel more learned, like, and more understanding
More
of the
learned.
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel more learned right now, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Jeff. Where can we find you on the internet?
I don't use the internet.
You're a
No,
liar.
I'm just playing. I'm Yef Weekends on everything. YEFFWEYKINS.
And you can find me, Crystal Caliber, as Corey Stalia on everything. And Summer?
And you can find me as real_Zomner at Instagram in Instagram and everywhere else. I'm just Zomner. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the episode for the week. Bye-bye.
Bye.